start. So the thing is, we'll start with I would like to begin with, first of all, thanking you for coming to this session. We are starting it after a long pause, and so just for the people who are joining in new to this set, हम लोगों ने फेमिनिस्ट फ्राइडे कब से स्टार्ट किया, क्यों स्टार्ट किया, क्या हम लोग करने वाले हैं अगले 1 घंटे के अंदर। तो ऑलमोस्ट 1 साल हो गया हम लोगों को ये स्टार्ट किया। दिस इज़ 45th सेशन। हाँ, 1 से ज़्यादा। अप्रैल में। सो वी सेलिब्रेटेड आवर एनिवर्सरी ऑल्सो। तो मकसद ये था कि जब हम लोग सेशंस में आते थे, मैं और विशाली एंड वी हैव वन मोर कलीग अमृता, शी इज नॉट प्रेजेंट टुडे। मकसद ये था कि जो भी हम रीडिंग्स करते हैं, हमारे लिटरेचर रिव्यू का जो पार्ट है, जो क्लासेस में टीचर्स पढ़ा रहे हैं हमको, कैसे वो सारी रीडिंग्स को हम समझ सकें और एक ऐसे ग्रुप सेटअप में जहाँ पर उनको डिस्कस कर सकें। हमारा ऐसा मानना है कि जो फेमिनिस्ट थ्योरीज हैं, जो भी हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, इट इज़ वेरी मच रिलेवेंट टू आवर ओन डेली लाइफ, लाइक हाउ वी ऑपरेट। एंड और दूसरा ये था कि ये सारी रीडिंग्स कहीं ना कहीं एक एटलीस्ट वी फाउंड इट वेरी एकेडमिकली हैवी, तो कैसे ना कैसे उनको सिंप्लीफाई कर सकें इस तरह से कि हमको समझ में आए। और इसी 2-3 चीज़ें हमने कोशिश की थी कि एक ऐसा सेटअप बनाएंगे जहाँ पे JNU फिर बाहर के स्कॉलर्स के साथ में बैठ सके, हम लोग डिस्कस कर सकें अपना रिसर्च वर्क, कहाँ उसमें इफ़ देयर इज सम ओवरलैप विद फेमिनिस्ट थिंकिंग, और अगर आप भी अपने पर्सनल स्किल का पर्सनल लेवल पर कुछ पढ़ रहे हो तो वो भी आप यहाँ पे शेयर कर सकते हो। सो इट्स नॉट लाइक एवरी टाइम वी हैव टू बी होल्डिंग दिस स्पीकर पोजिशन, बट वी लव टू ओपन इट फॉर एवरीबडी एंड एनीबडी हू वांट्स टू प्रेजेंट इट विद अदर्स। एकेडमिक्स में भी ज़रूरी कि हम कैसे, हाउ डू वी डेवलप दिस स्किल ऑफ प्रेजेंटिंग फॉर अदर्स ऑल्सो। तो इसी के साथ हमने बहुत बेसिक रीडिंग से स्टार्ट किया था। वी हैव लास्ट 40-45 डेज 45 सेशंस में वी हैव कवर्ड काफ़ी सारी रीडिंग्स ऑन कास्ट एंड जेंडर, काफ़ी सारी रीडिंग्स ऑन बेसिक वोकैबुलरी ऑफ फेमिनिस्ट थ्योरीज, अम्बेडकर, गांधी एज अ फेमिनिस्ट, इफ ही इज नॉट, जो भी डिबेटेबल इश्यूज हैं वो हमने डिस्कस की। यू वांट टू ऐड और देन वी स्टार्ट?
The primary idea is also to make it easily available to people from different centers and disciplines who may not be acquainted with feminist theory, like people who were officially studying. So that was also one of the major thoughts.
Yes. And I forgot the introduction.
No, it's okay.
No, it's not. You have to.
Oh, sorry, right.
Yeah. So Vishali, you could
Yeah, so I'm Vishali and I did my MPhil from the Center for Women's Studies within the center, and I'm doing my PhD from the Center for Law and Governance. So I've also been in this journey together with Shri since the beginning. And
I am doing my, Shri Kumar, I am doing my PhD from Center for Women's Studies. This is a 3rd year of my work, and I'm interested, my research area includes working on issues of manifestations of masculinity among adolescent boys in public schools. I'm looking into Haryana, 2 districts of Mewat and Gurgaon. Yeah.
My name is Nisha. I'm doing my PhD in CSP. Economics, but my heart lies in that schools as my Marxist feminist directorate because I would like to study.
Shweta?
so I'm Shweta Suba, and this time I'm doing PhD from the Center for Study in Government. So that's it. This is English. Before this, I never really
Thank you, Anisha. So we'll begin. So the structure look like we pick up a reading. First, we don't restrict ourselves to any language barrier. So we try to mix it with English and Hindi or any other language you're comfortable with. And yeah, please come listen. तो स्ट्रक्चर लुक्स लाइक कि हम लोग थोड़ा सा जो टेक्स्ट है उसको हाईलाइट करके रखते हैं ताकि इफ यू वांट टू जस्ट रीड सम एलिमेंट ऑफ द टेक्स्ट आल्सो, बट इट्स मोर लाइक कि जो भी हमारा काम है, जो भी हमारी एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, नॉट नेसेसरली समबडी हैज टू रीड द टेक्स्ट टू कम टू दिस ग्रुप. इट्स ओके इफ यू हैव नॉट रेड इट, इट्स नॉट अ क्लासरूम, बट वी ट्राई टू link it with the work we are doing and see what are the different meanings that can emerge from it. So let's start with the reading. Situating feminist dilemmas in the fieldwork by Diana Wolf. Now, before we even try to read the text, it's written in 1996. Okay. It's a very seminal text, fundamental text, which is part of our feminist theory also. Now, there are some keywords here like feminist, dilemma, and then fieldwork. So the question comes, and this is what we can think on, कि feminist dilemmas in the fieldwork अगर है भी, let's leave feminist separate for the time being. What could be the dilemmas in the fieldwork, or what actually is the fieldwork? What does it means to be on field? We are right now. We are not in field, or are we in field? You're not in field, right? So, what it means to be on the field, and which studies or which methodologies allow you to be on the field. Will a philosopher go on a field if you are a philosophy student? Or so what are our understanding? It's okay, you don't have to just define it, but what would mean like whether we are on the field or not? क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते थे चाहे ये फील्ड पे जा रहा है?
broad understanding of what is the field.
What is the field? If you can share from your own research, whether it's whatever stage it is, I can share mine. We'll open up.
Yeah, I've still not gone to the field, and my research, my thesis will not involve a lot of field work, but like in-lab experiments. But I did a survey once, like I was helping a PhD scholar for their thesis, and my understanding of or my experience in the field was that one has to be very cognizant of the power relations that come when you are surveying someone, because so this particular field work of mine was in Calcutta, that's the city where I come from. So in a lot of places people can just get a sense that that you are an urban English speaking girl, so they will try to curate their answers based on what your expectations are, because they might have certain notions attached to your identity, and they will try to make themselves more moldable to your format. So this is a big bias which can occur.
So I think this picking from Nishad's sharing of her experience. So keywords appear like issues of power, issues of bias, and field is something where you go. So it's an outside thing. Yeah. Anybody wants to
Any idea
add
of what
it means to me?
What do you mean by that? It's fine. That's the thing. ना उसमें भी तुम्हारा मन में जो concept है, we just talk about that. Where exactly that's what doesn't necessarily have to be here and there. You've learned to also that's what you're doing. So you must have some idea. So we're just talking about those things.
that's the beauty of, just adding to this point. So thing is, field gives you experiences, field you get stories which we share, and it's also an understanding that as a researcher, we go and with a certain set of problems, certain set of questions, and the field will give us some data, and based upon the data, we will analyze, we will write and present our knowledge. So field is one part of knowledge production, that whole system. Yeah.
In very simple terms, if you have to put it, we kind of can say for sure that we imagine field as kind of a space. Now it's not necessarily always a physical space. That's what also feminist theory means about. We have studied it and we were in this reading as well. So it's, but mostly our primary imagination is we do imagine it as a geographical space where we go to the field. It could be a city, it could be a town, it could be an office, it could be a university, whatever. But alongside that, like a very good point that you brought in, there are many certain kind of power relations which kind of also enlarges how we imagine the field. So it's space, it's definitely space, but may not be limited with a certain geography, but it extends beyond. So,
इसी के अगर JNU का स्टूडेंट है, JNU में स्टडी कर रहा है, अगर JNU में हम JNU के बारे में कुछ स्टडी कर रहे हैं, तो then the institution itself become a field. तो it's not कि एक हमेशा बाहर जाके एक डिस्टेंस पे है ना, तो ठीक है. Now we'll move towards feminist dilemmas. Situating feminist dilemmas in the fieldwork. I'll read the first. This is page number 1, and some part I'll read. The first page itself. The feminist dilemma in the fieldwork are, quote, as much ethical and personal as academic and political. Till 1991, they knew at our core, challenging our integrity of work and at times the resolution of our project. Feminist dilemmas in the fieldwork revolves around power, which you mentioned, often displaying contradictory, difficult and irreconcilable positions for the fieldwork. Indeed, the power dimension is threaded throughout the fieldwork and post-fieldwork process and has created a major identity crisis for many feminist researchers. So the question of power, and to an extent that it creates an identity crisis for a feminist researcher, is important. And this will keep coming up in our further discussions.
What do you mean by identity crisis?
yeah. So if I have to just touch upon, obviously it's a broad concept, but we have this concept of self-reflexivity. So when we are in the field, so this kind of something that feminist theory particularly emphasizes. Up until now, the major trend has been to do objective research, where we are erasing ourselves as if we as researchers are somehow above everything and our subjects are there, we are just supposed to go there and study them and we are a nobody. But the feminist theory has been questioning that. We are also embedded in a particular social location, and there our identity matters, and matters a lot in the sense that it actually has the power to alter the entire research project. So my identity as a woman, as a Muslim woman, as a Hindu woman, as a Dalit woman, as an Indian woman will determine what kind of research I produce. Yeah, so in that, and often like one major part of feminist dilemma that we're going to touch upon is like, so as a researcher, what should be my idea and how should I approach the field where my identity is affecting it to the either to the minimal, or even if it's affecting it, I am recognizing it appropriately. That's the idea.
So we'll touch upon these academic concepts like self-reflexivity, position in the politics of location, positionality, issues of reciprocity. So these are words, concepts which we'll be dealing in this reading also. Let me just read some part of it and then we'll come to it. Same first paragraph, first page itself. The question that informed this chapter are, what kind of a dilemmas and quandaries and contradictions have feminists confronted and grappled with in the process of fieldwork or its afterward? What kind of contradictions have feminists uncovered during fieldwork? How can these challenges and contradictions change over time? What do these changes imply for current and the fieldwork, which is for the future? Now in the next page, page number 2, I just highlighted why feminist dilemmas in the fieldwork. Without a doubt, somebody who is not a feminist, let's say non-feminist women or a man particularly, those with political commitment to social change may also experience some kind of a dilemmas or challenges. Anybody who goes on a field, let's keep feminist aside, who goes on a field will find some challenges, right? अगर फील्ड पे जानी है तो कैसे बात करनी है, किससे बात करनी है, क्या कपड़े पहन के जाने हैं, ठीक है, किससे परमिशन लेनी है, ठीक है, उन्होंने जो डेटा दिया है उसको हम कैसे प्रोसेस करेंगे, उनकी परमिशन ली है कि नहीं है. सो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि देयर आर नॉट चैलेंजेस ऑन द फील्ड, वो तो है ही, बट फेमिनिस्ट प्रेजेंट्स सम एथिकल डिलेमास, उनके बारे में बात करेंगे. However, the important difference, and this is where we can focus upon, the important difference for feminists is that many of these dilemmas and contradictions directly challenges the underlying tenets of their belief, because feminists, in quotes, are among the few who articulate commitment and political priorities that invoke a better model of human behavior that is as yet nowhere to be found. So their commitment, this commitment creates moral and ethical crisis because of the inherent power hierarchies that perpetuates women of color or third world, which is third world women as subject in subordinate position to third world feminists. Now, leaving, so the central question for a feminist researcher will be कि कैसे power difference को कम किया जाए, hierarchies को कम किया जाए, ठीक है. आगे हम लोग पढ़ेंगे कि पावर किस तरह से ऑपरेट होती है. एक हमारी बहुत सिंपलिस्टिक समझ ये हो सकती है कि एज ए रिसर्चर हम कोई एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं, जैसे फिजिक्स में एक्सपेरिमेंट होता है, जैसे केमिस्ट्री में एक्सपेरिमेंट होता है, हम उस एक्सपेरिमेंट को करते हैं, उससे रिजल्ट मिलता है एंड दैट बिकम्स नॉलेज, ठीक है. सोशल साइंटिस्ट डू अनदर काइंड ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स एंड उससे हमको नॉलेज मिलती है. बट फेमिनिस्ट रिसर्चर्स, फेमिनिस्ट स्कॉलर्स वो बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिटिक करते हैं इस चीज़ को कि जब आप किसी चीज़ को बहुत न्यूट्रली पोर्ट्रे करते हैं कि साइंस जो है बहुत ही न्यूट्रल है, बहुत ही ऑब्जेक्टिव है, हमें कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव ट्रूथ फाइंड आउट करना है, तो वो कहते हैं कि नहीं, साइंस कभी भी कोई भी चीज़ ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं होती है, कोई भी चीज़ न्यूट्रल नहीं होती है. ऑल नॉलेज प्रोडक्शन इज पार्ट ऑफ द पावर स्ट्रक्चर. और वो पावर स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, जैसे कि इसमें नैन्सी हार्शॉप का एक स्टेटमेंट है कि ऑब्जेक्टिविटी इज नथिंग बट मेल सब्जेक्टिविटी. जिसको आप ऑब्जेक्टिविटी बोल रहे हो वो बेसिकली मेल साइंटिस्ट द्वारा सेटअप किया गया एक डिसिप्लिन होगा. वो जैसे फादर ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी, फादर ऑफ फिजिक्स, फादर ऑफ केमिस्ट्री, तो सारा का सारा जो नॉलेज प्रोडक्शन है कमिंग फ्रॉम अ मेल पर्सपेक्टिव वन, एंड देयर इज नो ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, एवरीथिंग इज सब्जेक्टिविटी दैट वी नीड टू एक्नॉलेज. थोड़ा सा साइंस इज सब्जेक्टिव, या गुड क्वेश्चन.
that is also something an intervention done by feminist. So अभी तक ऐसा समझ में आया है कि science is objective, we deal with objective truth. But at the end of the day, science ये समझ होगा, science is not something which is beyond humans, and humans are not beyond society. Scientists जो knowledge produce कर रहे हैं, they are also part of the society. They also have internal biases of internal prejudices of gender, class, caste, race, जो is, and so when they are doing apparent objective work, उनका अंदर का इनहेरेंट जो biases है ना वो रिफ्लेक्ट हो ही जाता है. इसका बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है कि we actually did this in our qualification sessions as well. There was a meeting वैसे like for example typical biological sciences में when the reproductive system is studied, that's very much determined by the gender biases of the science. तो उसमें है ना कि so female reproductive organs and reproductive system जब पढ़ा जाता है, it is also kind of ऐसे scientists उसको explain भी ऐसा कर रहे हैं ना, is kind of overlapping with our idea of how we imagine the right kind of woman should be. And उसमें even like the female reproductive process is somehow placed as if it's not of so much wonder and is somehow inferior to the male reproductive system. उसको डिटेल्स में अगर वो पढ़ेंगे तो उसका डिटेल आएगा ना, गोइंग टू डिटेल.
किसी का एग्जांपल है, हमें ऐसा लगता है कि बोलते हैं कि एग और स्पर्म का जो मिलना होता है, रिप्रोडक्शन कैसे होता है, एग और स्पर्म बहुत सिंपलिस्टिक है, साइंस नहीं बताया हमको, देखो एग है, स्पर्म है, पर लेकिन उसको ऐसे दिखाया जाता है कि स्पर्म जो ट्रैवल करके आता है, स्ट्रगल से पहुंचता है, फिर जो एग होता है वहाँ पे से पैसिवली वेट कर रहा है कि स्पर्म आ रहा है, और फिर उसको काउंटर कर दिया, ठीक है. सो इट्स लाइक अ पैसिव फील्ड ऑन विच मेन और मैस्कुलिन थिंग हैज टू काउंटर. तो you will read this science का जो language है ना, it is embedded in sexism, it's embedded in sexism, racism, classism, उसमें सब निकल के आता है. इसी का एक और 2-3 ऐसे रिपोर्ट्स हैं, जैसे कि अगर हम ये भी मान सकते हैं कि मोइनीहाल रिपोर्ट जो थी उसके ऊपर की थी, जो ब्लैक लोग होते हैं, यूएस में स्टडी हुई, साइंटिफिक स्टडी हुई, तो उस रिपोर्ट से निकल के आया जो ब्लैक लोग होते हैं उनके अंदर एग्रेशन ज़्यादा होता है, ठीक है। तो कैसे कनेक्ट किया, साइंटिस्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, लेकिन द वे दे डिफाइन देयर प्रॉब्लम, द इंस्ट्रूमेंट दे यूज़, ठीक है, तो उसके अंदर रेसिज्म था, तो उसकी वजह से उन्होंने ये कंक्लूड किया। जैसे कि एक बहुत सिंपलिस्टिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये भी है कि हार्मोन्स की वजह से लड़के जो है उनके अंदर एक एज ग्रुप में ये एग्रेसिव टेंडेंसीज आ जाती है। कौन सा हार्मोन होता है वो? एक होता है टेस्टोस्टेरोन, एक होता है ना एस्ट्रोजन, जो लड़कियों में होता है। तो ये साइंस की बहुत ही रिडक्शनिस्ट अप्रोच होती है जो कि पेट्रियार्कल नॉलेज प्रोडक्शन में उसमें फिट हो जाती है। अच्छा, ये तो टीचर्स बोलते हैं तो टेस्टोस्टेरोन की वजह से लड़के जो है एग्रेशन आ रहा है, ये तो उम्र ही ऐसी है, ये तो उम्र ही ऐसी है। तो जो ये डिवीजन भी है ना, मेल और फीमेल, जो बाइनरी डिवीजन भी है मेल फीमेल बेस्ड अपॉन योर बॉडी पार्ट्स, हमने क्या किया, 2 बॉडी पार्ट्स को डिफरेंशिएट किया, उसके बेस पे हमने पूरा का पूरा सिस्टम बना दिया कि मेल ऐसे होते हैं और फीमेल ऐसे होते हैं, और फिर उनके ऊपर जेंडर रोल दे दिए। लेकिन साइंस में अगर देखा जाए तो वही मेल पार्ट और फीमेल पार्ट के अंदर बहुत सारी डाइवर्सिटीज़ थी, उनके कॉम्बिनेशंस अलग हो सकते थे, होते हैं, बट उनको साइंस ने क्या नेगलेक्ट कर दिया। दिस इज मेन एंड दीज आर पेरिफेरीज, जिसकी वजह से जो हमारा डिवीजन होता है। फॉर एग्जांपल्स हैं ऐसे,
साइंस में ऑब्जेक्टिव सब बोला जाता है, दैट्स द कॉमन थिंग, मेनस्ट्रीम में वही माना जाता है, बट एज फेमिनिस्ट वी आर आल्सो सपोज्ड टू क्वेश्चन दैट, इज इट रियली दैट ऑब्जेक्टिव?
लेट्स कंटिन्यू टच अपॉन द इशू ऑफ पावर। थोड़ा सा फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ जो है पेज नंबर 2 पे, फेमिनिस्ट डिलेमा इन द फील्ड वर्क have changed over time, reflecting shift in feminist theory and epistemology. The most central dilemma of contemporary feminist in fieldwork, from which other contradictions are derived, is power and the unequal hierarchies or level of control that are often maintained, perpetuated and created and recreated during and after field research. तो पावर किस तरह से होती है? पावर 3 तरीके से होती है। इसमें पहला तो पावर जो कि डिफरेंट पोजिशनैलिटीज ऑफ रिसर्च एंड रिसर्च, ठीक है। एक तो हमारी पोजीशन, हम लोग रिसर्च करने जा रहे हैं तो ठीक है, हम JNU से आ रहे हैं, हमारी एक कास्ट आइडेंटिटी है, हम हो सकता है कार से जा रहे हो, बस से जा रहे हो, बाइक से जा रहे हो, कैसे कपड़े पहन के जा रहे हैं, और जिनके साथ हम रिसर्च कर रहे हैं वो लोग कौन है। ऑफन जो सोशल साइंसेज में रिसर्च होती है, इट्स डन ऑन द मार्जिनलाइज्ड ग्रुप, ठीक है। ऐसा तो यानी कि
research the ones who are located below us because that's easier access.
हमको प्राइवेट स्कूल में जो है उनके स्कूल के बच्चों का रिसर्च कर रही है, यू थिंक वी कैन गो एंड डू प्राइवेट स्कूल में आके रिसर्च कर सकते? नहीं करने देंगे। बड़ी बड़ी MNCs में जाओ वो नहीं देंगे। इट्स इजी टू डू रिसर्च इन स्लम्स, कभी सब स्लम्स में सेक्स वर्कर्स पे, वुमेन लेबर्स पे इस तरह के टॉपिक्स लेते हैं। तो ये तो आइडेंटिफाई किसको हम चूज़ कर रहे हैं रिसर्च करने को, लेकिन क्योंकि वो ईजी है। ईजी मतलब हमारे पास ज़्यादा पावर है बिकॉज ऑफ आवर पोजिशनैलिटी। तो ये जो टर्म पोजिशनैलिटी है, विल कम टू इट अगेन, बट पोजिशनैलिटी कम्स with our own multiple identities which the individual as a carry. We have to always be conscious कि हमारी कौन कौन सी आइडेंटिटीज है, कौन कौन सी आइडेंटिटीज होती है हमारी। कास्ट, क्लास, जेंडर, एज, सेक्सुअलिटी, ठीक है। हाँ, तो और ये सारी की सारी आइडेंटिटीज हमारे साथ फील्ड पे जाती है और अलग अलग तरीके से उस फील्ड को इम्पैक्ट करती है। अगर आप एक साइंटिस्ट जो पॉजिटिविस्ट फ्रेम में हो, पॉजिटिविस्ट फ्रेम मतलब जिसमें क्या फील्ड पे आके सर्च नहीं कर रहे, लैब में सर्च कर रहे हो, आप एक साइंस एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हो, तो उसमें उतना ज़्यादा आपकी आइडेंटिटीज इम्पैक्ट नहीं करती, ठीक है, बिकॉज यू आर डीलिंग विद प्रॉब्ली केमिकल्स और सम मशीन्स। बट इफ़ यू आर डूइंग स्पेशली विद ह्यूमन्स, तो हमारी आइडेंटिटीज हमेशा हमारे साथ जाती है, प्ले करती है। जस्ट टू गिव ए ब्रीफ एग्जाम्पल, अभी मैं लास्ट मंथ आई वॉज ऑन फील्ड, आई वॉज स्टेइंग इन अ विलेज, और वहाँ पे मुझे रूम चाहिए था रेंट के लिए। सो आई वॉज ऑफर्ड बाय, मेरा स्टूडेंट था, उसने कहा था भैया आप मेरे घर आके रह दो, ठीक है। तो मैं घर चला गया मिलने के लिए, मैं रह नहीं सकता हूँ कि नहीं, मैं देखने के लिए चला गया। तो चल ओपन फील्ड जैसा वहाँ पे एरिया था, कॉर्नर में 3 रूम थे, ठीक है। तो जो मेरा स्टूडेंट था, उनकी दादी जो थी वो बाहर निकल के उनसे मैं बात करने लगा। उन्होंने मेरे से ऐसे ही पूछ लिया कि अच्छा बेटा कहाँ से हो, कैसे हो। सो आई नो माई प्रिविलेजेस एंड पावर, तो मैंने बता दिया कि ठीक है मैं JNU से हूँ, ये है, तो उन्होंने डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली पूछने की कोशिश की आपका सरनेम क्या है, बेटा कहाँ से हो, तो कौन तो हाँ, आई वॉज नॉट कंफर्टेबल, तो मैंने वो क्वेश्चन डिफ्लेक्ट कर दिया। आई वाज लाइक ठीक है हाँ देखेंगे, मैंने बात चेंज कर दी। देन शी आस्क्ड अबाउट सेकंड क्वेश्चन, लाइक आर यू मैरिड। सो आई नो सारी की सारी आपकी पावर मुझे चेक कर, बट माई मल्टीपल आइडेंटिटीज विल बी टेस्टेड बाय द रिसर्च हु आई थिंक आई विल बी रिसर्चिंग। तो जो रिसर्च जो है वो भी हमको ऑब्जर्व कर रहा है, व्हेन वी आर ऑब्जर्विंग समबडी वी आर ऑल्सो बीइंग ऑब्जर्व एंड क्वेश्चन। तो उस टाइम पे मैं इट बिकेम डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी टू एक्सप्लेन, मैंने कि आपकी तो काफ़ी उम्र हो गई है, अभी तक शादी नहीं की आपने, हम क्या कर रहे हो। तो एंड आई एम अवेयर कि मेरा जो रिस्पॉन्स होगा दैट विल डिसाइड वेदर आई कैन स्टे इन दिस प्लेस और नॉट, बिकॉज दैट स्पेस इज शेयर्ड बाय अदर फैमिलीज ऑल्सो। तो वहाँ पे क्या जेंडर कॉम्पोजिशन है, कितनी लड़कियाँ हैं, कितने सिंगल अनमैरिड, ठीक है। सो I think it's a deception only that I said yes, I am engaged and I will be getting married soon. Now this is the dilemma. The dilemma is कि आप अपनी कौन सी एक्टिविटी कितना प्ले करते हो to be on the field, to get access to it, and this is what this reading is also about, deceptions. Yeah, you know, how do you play around your positionalities? So this was one. So as a feminist, we just have to be aware of our positionalities. Second is power exerted during the research process, such as defining the research relationship, unequal exchange and exploitation. तो जो हमने रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम चूज़ की है और उसको हम कैसे पढ़ना चाहते हैं, कैसे हम डेटा कलेक्ट करेंगे, क्या हमारे रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस हैं, ठीक है, दैट इटसेल्फ इज पावर ड्रिवन। ठीक है, हमने आइडेंटिफाई किया ना कि हमारे रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स कौन है, रिस्पॉन्डेंट कुड बी ऑफिस स्टाफ, रिस्पॉन्डेंट कुड बी लेबर्स, रोड साइड लेबर्स, स्टूडेंट्स, तो उसके अंदर पावर ऑलरेडी इनहेरेंट है, ये तो आइडेंटिफाइड, ठीक है। और उस प्रोसेस में व्हेन वी आर डूइंग रिसर्च कॉन्शियसली वी हैव टू टेक एफर्ट टू रिड्यूस द पावर। अभी रिड्यूस कैसे करेंगे पावर, फील्ड पे जाने पर कैसे रिड्यूस करेंगे पावर, दैट इज व्हाट दिस रीडिंग विल हेल्प अस अंडरस्टैंड। थर्ड इज, एक बार आपने रिसर्च कर ली तो थर्ड पावर इज हाउ डू यू प्रेजेंट योर वर्क, योर पोस्ट फील्ड वर्क पीरियड अबाउट राइटिंग एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन। अभी मैं मार्जिनलाइज कम्युनिटी में अपने गाँव में स्टडी करके आ गया, उनको तो नहीं पता ना क्या स्टडी किया। आई एम राइटिंग अबाउट देम, आई एम गेटिंग पब्लिश्ड, आई एम गेटिंग रिकॉग्निशन, नाम हो रहा है, जॉब मिल रहा है, उनके नाम पे खा रहे हैं उनकी स्टोरीज पे, ठीक है। तो दिस इज एक्सट्रैक्टिव रिसर्च विच फेमिनिस्ट फाइंड एथिकली वेरी प्रॉब्लमैटिक। हाउ डू यू डील विद दैट, कि जो गेन्स मिले हैं रिसर्च से, हाउ डू यू मेक श्योर दैट इट्स नॉट एक्सप्लॉइटेड। सोशल साइंसेस के बहुत सारे तरीकों से वो चैलेंज करते हैं, इसीलिए। नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पेज, जस्ट इन द फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ इटसेल्फ, सॉरी पेज नंबर 3 में पेपर में McKeer notes that the research process has the greatest potential for feminist process, that is the weakest link in the feminist research. So theoretically feminist researchers have talked about कि ऐसे मेथड यूज़ करो जो आपके रिसर्च सब्जेक्ट्स को बहुत पावर दे। मतलब हम अपने सब्जेक्ट से बात कर रहे हैं, उनके साथ रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, तो हमको कॉन्शियसली ऐसे मेथड यूज़ करने जो उनको पावर दे। तो ये थ्योरेटिकली चाहते हैं फेमिनिस्ट करना, बट हाउ डू यू डू इट इन प्रैक्टिस। उनके साथ रिसर्च करें, उनके साथ बैठ के रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम बनाएं, बैठ के उनके साथ बैठ के डेटा कलेक्ट करें, उनके साथ बैठ के लिखें थीसिस। सो क्योंकि पावर तो कम करनी है, फिर या फिर जो हम पब्लिश करा रहे हैं, जो वर्क है हमारा, उसकी जो रॉयल्टीज़ आ रही है, वो रॉयल्टीज़ का जो पैसा है वो अपने सब्जेक्ट्स रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स के साथ शेयर करें कि ना करें। सो दीज आर द एथिकल डिलेमास विच फेमिनिस्ट फाइंड द वीकेस्ट लिंक, कि अभी भी फेमिनिस्ट रिसर्च में ये वीकेस्ट लिंक है। अभी भी आपको बहुत सारा फेमिनिस्ट रिसर्च मिल जाएगा इस नाम पे कि दे हैव डन स्टडी इन स्लम्स, बट वी हैव टू क्वेश्चन कि क्या उन्होंने 3 लेवल ऑफ पावर में कौन सा लेवल पावर रिड्यूस किया कि नहीं किया, ठीक है। इसी में एक्शन रिसर्च और जो एक्टिविस्ट रिसर्च जिसको बोलते हैं, क्योंकि फेमिनिस्ट इन प्रिंसिपल एग्री कि हमारी थ्योरी, हमारी एकेडमिक्स और हमारी पॉलिटिक्स और हमारी लाइफ में बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंस है नहीं। वी बिलीव
debates है कि should we separate theory from practice, should it not, but mostly feminists do say that it should converge.
Right.
वो एक
But if there are long-term interviews with any household, then people just give them some money. The researcher will give them money for their time loss, because of which, let's say मजदूर है, अब वो मजदूरी करने नहीं गया, 3 घंटे अगर
Yeah,
बैठा है
exactly.
तो मुझे पैसे देते, but is that like compensatory
Yeah,
enough?
and also the thing is, in which किनके पास रिसर्च करने जाके you can actually use that. Say if someone
Right.
who's like in your position, who's like well-earning middle class, has some sort of respect within course.
Yeah.
To
Then
give
they
them
won't
money,
take
that
money.
would be weird. So it depends
But
on the
then you
context
don't want
also.
to,
Yeah,
have the laborer who uses daily wages.
yeah, of course, that makes sense.
So, yeah, it
So-
depends upon what class of people.
So when I'm just correcting it back to the story जिनके घर पे मैंने जाके रिक्वेस्ट की थी रुकने के लिए. So after 1 month period, how much should I pay as a rent? Because rent की तो कोई बात ही नहीं हुई. उन्होंने कहा बेटा आप तो हमारे बच्चे के टीचर हो, उनको पता नहीं होता कि मैं रिसर्चर हूँ. आप तो टीचर हो, आप तो स्कूल में पढ़ाते हो, हमारे घर पे आके रह लो. So how much should I pay? What price value should I decide for the amount of comfort which they have provided, not just data.
Yeah.
So
Prior experience.
yeah, and feminist consistently इस आर्टिकल में भी यही बोला गया है कि they believe in compassion, friendship, है ना, setting up rapport. खाली इंटरव्यू लेके वापस आने का मकसद नहीं है, उनके साथ एम्पैथाइज करना है, फ्रेंडशिप करनी है. बट it's actually more exploitative.
It's more exploitative.
It's more exploitative because now you are emotionally draining. अभी वो मेरे को बच्चे कॉल करेंगे, भैया आप कब आओगे, हमारे यहाँ फंक्शन हो रहा है, ठीक है. Are you able to see? So we have to constantly navigate these dilemmas कि कब when you are inside or when you are outside. We'll come to that. ठीक है.
So, sorry.
हाँ, please.
So one of I was watching this lady who had spent 3 महीने ऐसे textile workers in forgetting I think Italy या कहीं उसमें जाके फैक्ट्री में सारी women workers थी उस फैक्ट्री में. She spent 3 months. She was doing participatory research. Starting में अपनी identity नहीं बताई थी, वो जाके काम करने लगी. She joined as a worker over there, and then of course, like you said, she built great friendships and emotional bonds. And then these workers would confide in her. And then it became problematic for her to report that because she was being, confided in as a
As a
fellow
friend,
worker.
not as a researcher.
And then later on, these guys found out just sometime before she was going to leave that she was a researcher. In fact, they found her journal or something. So then they were very scared. Their entire approach and action towards her changed.
So this is
And they were like, ऐसे boss को मत बताना, मतलब there was fear. So there was a complete breakdown of the trust relationship.
Yeah.
it is such an outright ethical
Yeah.
whatever.
So that's also something I wanted to ask. Within these participatory research, how do you reconcile and minimize your dilemmas?
Participatory research would mean that you are sitting with them, you're designing problem, you are
No, that's the idea to do it, but usually ऐसा नहीं होता है.
You just hide your identity into
Yeah,
the.
उसमें भी
So deception इसमें लिखा भी नहीं है. It's a deception. अगर मैं आके फील्ड में बोलूँ कि मैं टीचर हूँ, actually I'm a researcher. But मैं आके मेरे को प्रिंसिपल मैम ने बोला आप
Let's say
सबको
you
पढ़ाने
join
के लिए. हाँ.
as a teacher.
I joined as a
But
teacher.
then like you have to lie about your
Yeah.
bias.
But when I'm collecting data, even before that, I have to repeat, say that see, I'm a researcher. I will be observing you. I will be writing about you. I'll be collecting data. Of course, when you're doing an interview, you take a consent for recording your voices. But even then, once I have interacted with you, I'll be sharing some part of your narratives. I'll make sure that your identity is confidential, and so constantly putting it across your subjects.
But उसमें भी dilemma है.
कि आपकी आइडेंटिटी है उसका ही टाइप आता है
हाँ।
कि उनके मतलब लाइक कि आप कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो अगर बता रहे हैं इसको तो जरूरी नहीं है उसे आंसर
एक वही है ना, वही
Exactly.
dilemma है.
यही तो डिलेमा है
Exactly.
कि आप झूठ बोल के सही इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालना चाहोगे कि सच बोल के वो सही इन्फॉर्मेशन को छोड़ना चाहोगे.
And
which is
even
right
in
thing
that
to do.
sense, I remember a comment from one of our professors. We had this exact same conversation in class. She said that it's okay to lie to people who are in power, which actually is a good idea.
Yeah,
because just,
power.
yeah, when you are doing it to someone who has less power, you are in a context of
You know, but I think if you are saying that it's okay to do it with the rich people, selling people in position of power, it will always be relative. How do you know that person is in power? If somebody is
हाँ,
rich,
वो तो
but
है।
it's also victim of, let's suppose, domestic violence. So
हाँ।
you are not really always
Yeah,
able
वो
to
तो
judge
बिल्कुल
whether
है।
somebody is in power or not.
हाँ हाँ।
So, and as a practice, ethical practice, it is wrong to
Yeah,
hide.
that is also true.
To hide.
हाँ। So this one is a dilemma here.
So
This is just
these are interesting
figured-
dilemmas and how
हाँ,
to deal with.
and even just I just think about things when we come back to that thing. So even one of our professors says that she has done her she has done courtroom ethnography. So she yeah. नहीं प्रत्यक्ष so she keeps sharing her experiences. उसमें भी so we are thinking about the ethics of our research subjects. We also have to think ethics related to us. So often, especially as women, when you go to the field, you are subjected to a lot of risks. Like violence, sexual violence, harassment being a major factor of them. So that is also something we have to keep in mind. And she says like, please try not to do something in which you put yourself at risk. That is also a factor. So many things.
Okay. So I'll just read this page number 3 with the last. So we have understood its weakest link in feminist research is to do a research which gives power to your subjects. We don't call them there's a name which you use to your subject also, either respondents, participants or subjects, because they have their own voice and life and agency. You know, so खाली उनको ऐसे. So the next part to this is इसी पेज पे last में जो लिखा हुआ है, and I'll read it. Despite my conclusion that truly feminist research based on certain feminist principles may not be possible. It's not possible to actually do
ultimate ethical होगा
true
ही
feminist research करना. It's not possible. It's not time to abandon the ship. It's still not right to completely abandon it. Confronting and understanding the multiple and often irreconcilable contradictions therein constitute an important step in approaching projects with political awareness and consciousness that will not be devastated when such dilemmas arises. So this is recognizing and accepting the imperfections within feminist fieldwork and research constitutes a necessary step if we are to refocus our gaze beyond ourselves. So this is a brief touch upon the issues of power and hierarchies. So concern ये रहेगा कि hierarchies कम करके. Let's move towards feminist epistemology and positivism. Now this is where your question comes, where you started with debate between science and social science and feminist epistemology. One of the major challenges of feminist epistemology is to mainstream science and social science. So feminist critique both science and social science has been a powerful critique of positivism and its underlying assumption. In a rather dwarfed nutshell, positivist science is based on the tenet of value-free objectivity that can, should and must be attained by scientists or social scientists in order to seek an uncovered fact and the truth. So there is a truth, there is a reality out there which you have to find in a very value-free, objectively. Now, moving ahead, feminist critique of the positivism has been located in three main arenas. So क्या है तीन critique? पहला तो the philosophical critique of positivism and its pretense of value-free science. पहली बात तो यही बोलना है कि जो साइंस है वो वैल्यू फ्री है. सो फिलोसफिकल क्रिटिक है पहला. दूसरा जो मॉरल क्रिटिक है वो क्या है? ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन एंड एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ सब्जेक्ट. जिनके साथ हम रिसर्च करते हैं, चाहे वो क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स हो चाहे कुछ भी हो, उन सब्जेक्ट को हम लोग यूज़ करते हैं, उनका एक्सप्लॉयटेशन करते हैं. सोशल साइंस में तो करते ही करते हैं, ठीक है, उनका एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, विच इज़ डिफाइंड मॉरल क्रिटिक. एंड द थर्ड विच इज़ द प्रैक्टिकल क्रिटिक. सो तीन क्रिटिक है, फिलोसफिकल क्रिटिक, मॉरल क्रिटिक एंड द थर्ड इज प्रैक्टिकल क्रिटिक ऑन द वे पॉजिटिविज्म oppose the interest of the researcher and the researched. So जो एक रिसर्च में जो रिसर्चर का इंटरेस्ट है, मेरा इंटरेस्ट जो है वो मेरे सब्जेक्ट के इंटरेस्ट दोनों आपस में अपोजिट है. मेरे को तो पब्लिकेशन करके पीएचडी लेके जॉब करनी है, लेकिन जो मेरा इंटरेस्ट सर वो मेरे रिसर्चर, वो मेरे रिस्पॉन्डेंट था, वो मेरे सब्जेक्ट था, तो वही. तो ये जो तीसरा प्रैक्टिकल क्रिटिक है जो फेमिनिस्ट देते हैं, ये तीन क्रिटिक है, फिलोसफिकल क्रिटिक, मॉरल क्रिटिक एंड प्रैक्टिकल क्रिटिक ऑफ feminist thinkers. इसी में ही I'll read the last then I'll pause for discussion. जो तीसरा पॉइंट है वो these kind of relationships positivism acquire between researcher and researched struck many feminists as simple a reflection of male forms of interpersonal dynamics, distant, quotes में rational, uninvolved, hierarchical, unrelated. इपैट कैप्लन का जो ये है quote है वो कहती suggest that objectivity is simply a form of male subjectivity. तो जो मेल है उसके अंदर ही माना जाता है कि वो रैशनल है, डिस्टेंट है, हायरार्किकल है, which is nothing but male subjectivity. At the same time, however, some feminist scholars are reappearing the relationship between the feminist inquiry and the norms of objectivity. Now, we sought to break down the hierarchies and the potential exploitative relationship between the research and research by cultivating friendship, sharing, and closeness. It was felt would lead to a richer picture of women's life. Many feminists headed the call for passionate scholarship, joining their methods with their political sympathies. Indeed, German feminist Maria Mies argued that any truly feminist research must involve some kind of change through activism and consciousness raising. Clearly, these stand constitute a far cry from the neutral desire of objectivism. तो positivism और objectivism से तो काफ़ी opposite stand है, अलग stand है feminist critique का. So you want to say something? You want to add? I'll pause with this. अभी go on this. ठीक है. Yes. So contemporary theoretical challenges क्या है? So just a brief background. तो पहले feminist researchers ने क्या सोचा कि देखो सारे के सारे जो women है ना, women issues तो common है, women lives तो experience तो same है, तो women research करते हैं, women groups बनाते हैं, उनके women के नाम पे we will do writings. तो feminist research का मतलब women research था. लेकिन जो black feminists थे, जो third world feminists थे, they opposed it by saying कि आप कर क्या रहे हो? आप वुमेन एज ए कैटेगरी, यूनिफॉर्म कैटेगरी यूज़ कर रहे हो, तो उसके अंदर जो डिफरेंसेस हैं, जो पावर डिफरेंस है, उसको तो आप आइडेंटिफाई कर नहीं रहे हो. सो दे चैलेंज दिस होल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ यूनिफॉर्म वुमेन कैटेगरी. नाउ कंटेम्प्रेरी थ्योरेटिकल चैलेंजेस अभी क्या हैं, जो मोहंती ने इसमें लिखा है सेकेंड पैराग्राफ में, कंटेम्प्रेरी थ्योरेटिकल चैलेंजेस. मोहंती आर्ग्यूज दैट हाउ डू वी डिफाइन व्हाट इज फेमिनिज्म. शी चैलेंज फेमिनिस्ट स्कॉलर्स, क्योंकि फेमिनिज्म ये बन गया वेस्टर्न वाइट रेस जो अपर क्लास एंड रेस उन्होंने डिफाइन किया फेमिनिज्म. सो दे कैप्चर द स्पेस ऑफ फेमिनिस्ट रिसर्च पहले टाइम में, है ना, दे ऑक्यूपाइड इट. नाउ she challenges these feminist scholars with important questions about power and location, who produces knowledge about colonized people and from what space and location, what are the politics of production of this particular knowledge. तो जो नॉलेज प्रोडक्शन उसकी अपनी एक पॉलिटिक्स है. सो मोहंती अनसेटल्स दिस नॉट ओनली द कैटेगरी ऑफ थर्ड वर्ल्ड वुमेन बट द अजम्पशन ऑफ द अंडरलाइंग वुमेन एज ए कैटेगरी. तो वही आगे उन्होंने मेंशन किया है. एंड देन दिस न्यू चैलेंज केम फ्रॉम द पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म विच इज़ अबाउट some thinkers are named here. I'll skip that part, but it's also important that some wonder why the often inaccessible, abstract and hypo-theoretical language of postmodernism happened to evolve at the time when more women and minorities gained position in academia. Others are concerned about the overly textual focus of postmodernism, rendering the lived realities of women irrelevant. यहाँ पे बस दो बार इन्होंने मेंशन किया पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म को. दो चीज़ें दे आर शेयरिंग की. एक तो पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म का जो पूरा लिटरेचर है, लैंग्वेज है, ये जो राइज हुआ है, वी हैव टू थिंक कि उस टाइम पे क्यों राइज हुआ है जब थर्ड वर्ल्ड फेमिनिस्ट क्रिटिक आने लगा है. व्हेन marginalized women started sharing their knowledge production, when that was happening, तो क्या postmodernism is a counter to the waves of feminism जिसके अंदर हम लोग black feminist का rise होगा, वो उन्होंने चैलेंज किया है. दूसरा उन्होंने बोला है कि हाँ, तो दूसरा कि it kind of its focus overtly focus on the postmodernist thinker rendered the lived realities of women irrelevant. तो एक तरह से उनको जो उनकी रियलिटीज़ को उनको कहीं ना कहीं उनको हाइड करता है, उस पूरे डिस्कशन से हमको डिविएट करता है. नाउ just that we cannot talk about the feminist, there is no one feminist research method. We must also recognize multiple feminist epistemologies and multiple feminist projects. We are living in the time when substantial challenges faced by those doing fieldwork among third world women or women of color, and particularly in the which is research in Anglo and foreign are based, are increasingly recognized. The epistemological uncertainty that exists can be unsettling and may discourage many from beginning or continuing the fieldwork endeavor. So the point is, ये बोल रहे हैं कि क्योंकि एक तो मल्टीप्लिसिटी ऑफ फेमिनिस्ट एक तरीका तो है नहीं कि आप फेमिनिस्ट रिसर्च करके आए, ठीक है. दूसरा पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म का देयर इज अ राइज, सो देयर इज ऑलरेडी व्हाट वी अंडरस्टूड एज ट्रूथ एंड स्टैंडर्ड प्रैक्टिसेस आर चैलेंज्ड, ठीक है. और इट्स वेरी अनसेटलिंग फॉर समबडी टू थिंक कि हम जाके ना फेमिनिस्ट रिसर्च करेंगे, तो देयर इज नो क्लियर पाथ व्हिच इज डिफाइंड फॉर समबडी. बस ये बुक जो है ये हेल्प करती है हमको हाउ डू वी encourage feminists, how to deal with these dilemmas. फील्ड वर्क को लेके आई वुड लाइक टू जस्ट ओपन अप द कॉन्वर्सेशन कि हमने अपना फील्ड वर्क थोड़ा आइडिया है. जैसे आई चोज हरियाणा बिकॉज आई एम फ्रॉम हरियाणा, यू चोज कैलकाटा
Because I was helping someone who wanted data from Calcutta, so I
Okay.
used my location and position.
Okay, what would be the other reasons why you have chosen that? Have you given thought about it? We all will be thinking at some point of time कि कहाँ करनी है field, and you have done your MPhil, you know why, which area you have chosen. If you can share those, what was the thinking behind selecting a field?
No, so that was a separate like research assistant project that I did a couple of years ago. For me, I will be doing lab experiments like using university subjects in Delhi and Calcutta, starting with a pilot from JNU, which I think is a bad pilot because people in JNU are very aware. So, but one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because it motivates my research questions. So something similar within the domain of my thesis has been done from South India, and they have said that and because it's related to skin color and identity formation, they have said that maybe they did not find very diverging results. But they mentioned that maybe in North India it could operate differently because completely different norms operate in North India compared to South India with respect to things like skin color. So that is one motivation of and Delhi because of easy accessibility, because we are also looking at within lab experiments, unlike field experiments where you are looking for representativeness, जितने diverse मिल सके उतना better है for your results. In lab experiments, because we understand कि representation तो नहीं आ सकता, right? क्योंकि तुम एक यूनिवर्सिटी के कोई डिपार्टमेंट के कुछ बच्चों के साथ ही कर रहे हो. So we are looking for a homogeneous crowd itself, and we want to be able to say something with respect to this homogeneous set of people. And like statistically also it makes sense to not have a lot of deviations in a lot of parameters, so that at least conclusively you can, not conclusively but with some measure of confidence you can say that people, because people also tend to sort of, not in a place like JNU but maybe a DU, there will be people like with more or less the same income background or caste background, like not completely but to a big extent, like a certain set. So some related attributes regarding their behavior might be, it might be easier to make conclusions with regard to a smaller set of people than a very wide set of sample which might not be representative.
Like listening to your conversations, just with this reading, so this is a positivistic frame, like
This could be
yeah.
positive.
So
Also
your
her center is
question,
also
your question,
very
your center is placed in that paradigm. You work in this,
Yeah.
because I could sense some of the words like
Yeah.
deviance. So something will be deviance. I'm not aware of how it is done experiments in lab. But then this is how knowledge production in science is. They're always sensitive towards, okay, this is norm and this is deviant, right? So you have to probably the word is the confidence. Something like level of confidence has to be achieved.
Yeah.
So
This is a positivist.
yeah, this is so.
Very like trying to emulate physical sciences.
And uniformity, you talk about uniform representation.
Yes,
Caste,
exactly.
more or less similar caste and class background you look for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So it
To sort of isolate certain behavioral
right,
patterns.
right.
Because if I take like very if I take a scattered
Yeah,
population
scattered,
of people,
yeah.
then I will not be able, unless until I change my methodology and I do in-depth interviews and try to understand, then scattered population is best.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
here I'm not trying to do that. So in that case, the closer the just
True.
So the way you incorporate ethics within your research will be very different
will
from
be
how
very
you
different.
do
But
it.
this is very helpful
Happens
for me to
first
be
really,
cognizant
yeah,
of how
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
understand.
Yeah. Have you given a thought about where and when?
Okay, so I would want to start with the Bombay. So I'm not giving a thought why, because I'm working on animal protection. So the NGOs are basically based in metro security, historically, and these NGOs are criticized for their ageist nature. So in small cities, you anyway don't find like government NGOs for the protection of animals. So what I'm trying to do is, and what we were talking that we study from below. It is easier to access marginalized people than people who are in the extreme circle class. So even I found that it is very difficult to approach them because of their elitist nature. So I went through their composition, their president, vice presidents, even the activists that work in those societies. So they are already well placed in terms of jobs or in terms of place in. So it's very difficult to approach them. We have to go through the channels, official channels to communicate with them. And even if you ask them for certain data, they would be skeptical of sharing. They would want you your ID cards or like formal data. That way they won't divulge the information.
especially with the from jail.
Yeah, that's always a big
Completely
deal.
waste.
I lost two schools.
I was asking for annual reports because I have access to colonial annual reports and they have this tradition of maintaining annual reports. So I was just saying, can I just get to see at least 5 years or 5 to 10 years of annual reports? But he was just technically was like, firstly we want to see what the
True.
in a way
So that's positionality. Basically, they think you are placed in a lower position. Your subjects are placed higher, so it's very difficult to do research. That's one aspect of common. Yeah.
and also because the concern was sponsorship, like people also like, are you our member?
Yeah.
Are you also contributing
Will you propagate our activism and
That's reciprocity. There's a term for this. Like how
the
Transactional.
oriented nature of
Yes.
their work.
yes. So the feminist ethical dilemma deals with this. इसी रीडिंग में आगे है reciprocity is what we give and take. अभी मैं वहाँ पे रिसर्च कर रहा हूँ, so what can I give them? Can I give them money? No. What should I give in return? Should I give something in return or not at all? Like they are giving their time. Somebody will say that क्योंकि वो लेबर का लॉस होता है तो उनको पैसे दे दिए. ठीक है. So reciprocity is how do I contribute back to my respondents. ठीक है. तो you feel work को लेके कुछ thought?
Actually, my research topic is gender disability and violence.
Gender disability in
Violence, right? For this, I should say we are called aliens.
aliens.
So for this section, I have suggested to visit the NGOs. Like, because directly or that is what we receptive to violence related, so we should get that information.
So what do you think could be dilemmas at this stage? You don't have to read, but क्या हो सकता है?
I think that time we should do that. So that is the first dilemma. Why should we get like तुम्हें नहीं देख पाते, तुम्हें कैसे पता चलेगा? Yeah, I think it would be that. And the second thing कि इस तरह की चीजें हर कोई इतना मतलब comfortably आपको हर चीज मिलेगी.
Information restriction is very restricted. Yeah.
So the most important thing कि like कि अगर आप NGOs के through जाते हो, like so और आप research करते हो, तो एक बहुत limited way में बहुत सब information share करते हो. अगर आप वही चीज़ आपका पर्सनल कनेक्शन है तो आई थिंक आपको ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल
I think we also need to establish, yes, maybe I'm not very clear on this, but there are some things called challenges and something are dilemmas. So we need to differentiate, like I am going to school and school will not allow me to do a research in that. It's a challenge, it's not a dilemma. Okay, so the dilemma is, do I lie to the school and still get access to it and do a research without, by pretending to be somebody else? Because if I don't pretend, if I don't get permission, I can't do research. So I have to drop my PhD. I won't do that. So dilemma is choosing between two wrongs. One is more wrong than the other wrong. But there is a cost associated. There is a moral cost associated between choosing. So you will be. There is a sense of unsettlement, anxiety. Do I tell my respondent that I am married so that that person gives me access to the space where I want to conduct my research? Because if I say that I'm not engaged, I'm a single male, and I go and interact with the students, so I know the principal will be very, very limiting me of interacting with girls. So that plays out in sexual tension, plays out in a very different manner if I'm seen as somebody who is coming with a partner and they assume that I'm engaged. It becomes comfortable for me. So it is about deception, it is about lie, it is about, but that's how we manage those dilemmas. So I just want to bring it out. It's a difference between challenge and dilemmas. I'm not sure how much time we have. Okay, if we just touch upon the headings, we can, yes.
So this is an important thing and because everyone will be able to relate to.
Yeah. ठीक है. Next, इसमें आ गया था. तो we have talked about feminist epistemology, which is critique of positivism. इसके बाद आता है feminist politics and entering the field. अब entering the field में क्या है? If we are entering the field, so there is a dilemma of how much I am an insider or an outsider or both or neither. तो अपनी identity को लेके how do I negotiate कि मैं insider हूँ क्या? मैंने अपना गांव चूज़ किया, मेरे गांव में स्कूल है, मैं वहाँ पे रहकर रिसर्च करना चाहता हूँ. So I feel that I am an outsider, insider. मेरे को लैंग्वेज आती है, मैं वहाँ पे टीचर्स को जानता हूँ, ठीक है. तो insider outsider का जो dilemma है वो बना रहेगा. And this reading tells that it's not fixed. That one might fix that they are insider, so they have better access to the knowledge. Feminists इस चीज़ में मानते हैं कि something called epistemic privilege. That because you are oppressed, somebody let's assume that a woman is oppressed, so that person is better placed to write about women oppression than a male. Because मैंने तो experience नहीं किया तो मैं कैसे लिखूँ उसमें? So there is a need for certain sense of insiderness to have validity in what you are saying. But then it can also be challenged that somebody like we talked earlier in the class, like this gay novel आके she has not faced Dalit oppression, but then she is writing and working on Dalit.
And she's been celebrated.
She's been
It's celebrated. So we have to negotiate constantly about how much we are insider and outsider. Just a small anecdote, अभी fresh है इसलिए मैं share कर रहा हूँ. मैंने सोचा कि चलो कौन से गांव में स्कूल में स्टडी करना, मैंने अपने गांव से शुरू किया. ठीक है, मैं अपने गांव में गया, मैंने अपने मामा को बोला मामा ठीक मैं अपना स्टडी करना है. तो उन्होंने मेरे को टीचर से मिलवा दिया. कहते यही तो टीचर है जो स्कूल में पढ़ाते हैं, जाओ इनसे मिल लो. तो उनके घर जाके मिल गया. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू इज आई एम यूजिंग माय नेटवर्क. ठीक है, आई एम यूजिंग माय फेमिलियरिटी एंड आई थिंक आई एम एन इनसाइडर. Forgetting that पिछले 20 सालों से मैं गांव में आई एम स्टिल एन आउटसाइडर हु विजिट्स विलेज समटाइम्स. ठीक है, मेरी पूरी स्कूलिंग और चाइल्डहुड बाहर रहा है, आर्मी बैकग्राउंड तो बाहर रहा हूँ. नाउ माई लैंग्वेज इज डिफरेंट. ठीक है, आई स्पीक वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द लैंग्वेज ऑफ द स्कूल और द विलेज. बट आई एम थिंकिंग कि यार इसमें क्या है, जाके बस बात ही तो करनी है प्रिंसिपल से. एंड बिकॉज द प्रिंसिपल नोज एवरीबडी इन माई फैमिली, एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली, दादा परदा सबको जानते हो. एंड आई थिंक आई हैव ह्यूज नेटवर्क, privilege, power, caste, everything, land. We come from a landowning community, so I'm very confident I can do this in this school. But the moment I enter the school, तो वाइस प्रिंसिपल क्या करता है, मेरे को बुलाता है, कहता है आपको रिसर्च करनी है, आप कहाँ से आए? मैंने बताया मैं JNU से आया. ठीक है, अब वहाँ पे क्या है, दिस पर्सन इज ऑल्सो वर्किंग विद अ ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स. वो उनके साथ काम कर रहा है, उनका एडमिशन फॉर्म भर रहा है, कुछ काम कर रहा है. तो 20-25 लड़के बैठे हैं. वहाँ पे आके वो मेरे से पूछता है कि अच्छा तुम वही हो ना जिसकी शादी नहीं हुई है, तुम्हारे 2 भाई है ना, यू आर नॉट मैरिड, 37 साल की हो गए हो, शादी नहीं, क्या JNU में करते हो? So it took him just 5 minutes to just puncture everything which I thought I had, and in front of the students.
Your privilege worked against you. That's very
No,
interesting.
it's one aspect of my privilege which I thought was not that important. Okay, I'm not married. But imagine how my own positionality plays out very differently being on field. So I have to drop that school because it's so comfortable. Because everything I do, everything I say is connected to historical awareness, and my whole family network is involved.
Yeah.
It's like a family gossip group.
Yeah.
So you can't do a research.
Yeah.
तो insider outsider keeps changing. वही बोला इस writing में भी, just be very sensitive about what you think.
Also, I'd just like to point out a dilemma that my friend, for example, was telling me. So she does a lot of field work in Haryana, Rajasthan, and a lot of course, being an unmarried girl has a very different set of problems
Yeah,
than
yeah.
just being an unmarried man.
Uh,
then they would have these activist organizations जो उनका वहाँ लास्ट माइल ऑफिस होता था, वो उन्हें मतलब जो भी अगर लड़की घर सर्वे करने गई है तो वो कोई पॉइंट पे खड़ा रहेगा just knowing that you know that one person has gone in and we just like make sure that something has not happened to her, so one person will be there keeping some track of time or whatever. Now this person who's there because he's a local and he's involved with people or whatever, so this one time एक रिसर्चर को आने से बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम हो गया, 2 घंटा 2.5 घंटा हो गया, घर से मतलब गई थी इंटरव्यू लेने, निकली नहीं, तो अब ये गए इसको देखने के लिए कि क्या हुआ, एंड देन दिस गर्ल इज इंटरव्यूइंग द हाउस होल्ड रिस्पॉन्डेंट एंड वो जाके ऐसे वो कुछ रिस्पॉन्स दे रहा है, दिस पर्सन को नहीं ये तो तुम गलत बोल रहे हो, मुझे तो पता है लास्ट ईयर तो बारिश हुई नहीं थी, इतना तो फसल गया नहीं है, सो ही इज़ कम्प्लीटली writing him off and वो अपने कुछ बोले जा रहे हैं. Now for this girl, of course, having that person is important from a safety point of view, but at the same time it's compromising
उनके
the
बिना access
research.
नहीं मिलेगा.
Access नहीं मिलेगा, but उसका पूरा quality of research is going.
So इस रीडिंग में इसी तरह के dilemmas दिए हुए कि how do I represent myself, पेज नंबर 11 पे है कि the researcher and her persona. Representing oneself, like she mentioned कि अगर आप एक unmarried woman हो, you're doing a research, तो तुमको एडवाइस देना शुरू कर देंगे कि क्या करोगे, इसमें सब लिखा हुआ है, ठीक है, एंड इट बॉइल्स डाउन टू वेरी माइन्यूट डिटेल कि यार जैसे कि मेरे को सोचना पड़ा कि पहले मैं बाइक लेके स्कूल पे आता था रिसर्च करने के लिए, देन आई वन डे आई टुक अ स्कूटी, ठीक है, तो दैट ऑल्सो यू नो चेंजेस व्हाट ड्रेस आई वेयर, पहले मैं शर्ट पहन के जा रहा हूँ, अगर टी शर्ट पहन के जा रहा हूँ, एबल टू सी माई टैटूज ऑल्सो बच्चे, so no, I consciously took the decision to reduce the power difference. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि it should feel like हाँ भैया ही तो है, ठीक है, तो it talks of like how much you share your own life with them. Like some school might disagree कि ठीक है रिसर्चर को अपने पर्सनल लाइफ शेयर नहीं करनी चाहिए उनसे, बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि if we trying to build rapport or trust, तो if we are expecting them to share their part of the life, so it's like giving sharing
Good
it,
kind of reciprocity.
reciprocity, yes, and operating on that no harm principle, yeah. तो इसमें तो यही पार्ट में feminist standpoint and approaches we had touched upon. हाँ, feminist standpoint पेज नंबर 11 पे थे. I'll just read some part of page number 11 में जो representing self वाला part है, first paragraph. Although we cannot hide our race or gender, there are some aspect of identity that may be less obvious. Feminists have struggled with presenting and representing their selves and the problem, dilemmas and contradictions of engaging in deception. So deception becomes important. Now, there is one area in which our power and control offers us to choice to construct and reshape ourselves to our subject, playing on the different positionalities of researcher and research. This is particularly the case when researchers are of far enough from the home that their research subjects do not encounter many of their family members or friends, whereas our respondents are usually surrounded by kins and friends and cannot similarly withdraw, hide or alter aspects of their identity. So the very fact that कि researcher की तो पूरी family, my private life it was shared, मेरी जो अपनी personal life है वो तो shared नहीं है ना मेरे respondents के साथ, तो automatically I am at a power position. The feminist field workers have lied about their marital status, stating that they were married when they were not, about their national identity, अपने religion, ethnicity. और ये क्वेश्चन बहुत आता है बिकॉज मैं जब स्टूडेंट का डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ अपने रिसर्च, माई क्वेश्चन डील्स विद प्रॉब्लम्स डील्स विद यू नो कास्ट आइडेंटिटी, रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी, देयर रिलीजियस बिलीव्स, कास्ट बिलीव्स, देयर जेंडर बिलीव्स, तो वो उल्टा भी पूछते हैं सब, या आपका क्या धर्म है, आपकी क्या कास्ट है, आपको सेक्सुअलिटी को लेकर आप क्या समझते हैं, ठीक है, तो एक्सपेक्ट दिस गिव एंड टेक ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन. और उसमें इफ यू आर प्लेइंग डिसेप्शन वी आर बीइंग अनएथिकल.
No, they are saying like for safety purposes or whatnot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, okay, again, so if I'm going into the field, now suppose you went to Gurgaon
Hmm.
doing your field work in a very charged environment, just like
Hmm.
परेशानी वगैरह की।
Hmm.
अब अगर आप मुसलमान होते और अगर आप जाके मतलब you can't lie, if you are not lying about your identity and of course they want to know कि आपका जान है क्या है, so what would you do in a position? What would you do in a situation like that?
So
Like I
was,
wouldn't reveal my identity.
I was supposed to do field work in Mewar, but I could not do it because, and here I still felt that I am an insider. I know that I won't be attacked for my identity, Hindu identity, at least if I am in Gurgaon village. So I have calculated the risk. But there is a possibility, because it's an emotionally charged environment. Had I been a Muslim, I would have waited for some time.
Even then, I don't think
And
it
it's
would
always
have been.
risky, na? It's always
It's
risky.
always, I would say.
Always, that's the thing. That's exactly it actually determines everything and what kind of.
I have to leave village. Like at that night when I felt unsafe, I have to leave. I was like, I keep getting calls like, "तुम आ जाओ, हो गया तो करिए," because it's risky. Retaliation, there is a possibility that there will be retaliation between the communities and you don't know where you are staying. I am staying in somebody's house.
Yeah.
So I am perceived from that particular community or that particular caste. So and it's a very it's proper right situation. So right situation may have to leave the field. So but again, so although many non-feminist field workers may deceive their subject and feel bad about it, feminists have expressed considerable distress over this dilemma because lying directly contradicts. If they lie, it contradicts attempts at a more feminist approach to fieldwork, which includes attempt to equalize the relationship and create a more of a friendship. Fauzi El Sola struggled with her guilt and fear over lying about her national identity and state that most fieldworkers will at some point in their research find a measure of dishonesty unavoidable. The crucial question should be how much harm we thereby cause those we seek to study. Like how much harm we are causing by deceiving them.
And also, I also think of something because we have to figure out what is the ultimate goal for you as feminists. So the ultimate goal is to kind of do away with the hierarchies. थोड़ा सा
It's
different.
not
So even when you're lying, क्या सोच के you're lying, that becomes important. So if you are like you are in a position of power, if you say you're an upper caste man and you're lying and pretending to be a Dalit man to get info from a Dalit group, that's unethical.
That's
And
another.
I'm a woman, and if I say that I'm unmarried, I know I'll be susceptible to various kinds of harassment. Maybe if I do say that I'm married, it would be a little less. So is that are both the lies on the same cliff? They're not. So that is also a factor.
So and she has mentioned that people share their identity at different level and different point of the research, but she has not come across any researcher who has who has revealed openly that they are feminist and a lesbian researcher. So that is something which people are still on sexuality dimension, they are not able to do that. Okay. Now next section is, I'll just quickly wind it up also. Feminist standpoints and approaches. So we have talked about the feminist standpoint theory, which is by Hartstock and Smith Hardings. One's positionality as a woman is crucial in gaining knowledge and understanding of others women. Moving on, drawing on Marxist theory, Nancy Hartstock argued that due to women's position within the sexual division of labor and sexist operation in general, women would have greater insight. So women would have greater insight as a researcher into the lives of other women. In other words, one's position in social hierarchy vis-a-vis other group potentially limits or broadens one's understanding of others. Member of dominant group will have viewpoints that are partial and perverse. Now this is where the terms embodied subjectivity comes in. Same paragraph में नीचे लिखा हुआ है. Sociologist Dorothy Smith believed that one way one can know a socially constructed world is to know it from within. So epistemological contribution of women researcher is their embodied subjectivity. Their own knowledge and experience are crucial for creating knowledge, for determining how fully they can understand, one can understand that phenomenon. So this is epistemology of being an insider, with embodied subjectivity. You are part of that operation to talk about that operation.
Not just insider, but also where you're located. That determines how you see the society. So this is a very common sociological idea that when you are located in a certain hierarchy of the social order, you have the more below you're located, you have a better view of how the society actually works. So if people who are at the top, they're blinded by their privilege. That works, yeah.
So that's what you're saying is very close to what Nancy Kohlberg also talks about in terms of how competing identities that a person embodies at different points of their life, of their being, determines what their role even in like social reproduction would be. So a woman is not just guided by her instincts as a woman, but like all her intersecting identities of like class privilege, caste, like all these other factors. So it will not just be, she will not just have a very objective understanding of what women's issues are, but it will be all colored by these different factors that she's.
One good example of this is like Patricia Collins, who is a black feminist. She mentioned how black women, not black men, not white women, black women had a bigger, they had a clearer view of, so they were the first ones to raise voices on this racial differences and injustices. Because what happened was this black women would work as, say, servants, like that's the term right there, in White Houses. And they had this particular privilege of particular insight inside of how privileged White Houses were, which even black men did not. And that gave them a kind of upper hand in knowing how this society actually looks like. So there you position very well determined.
So in this reading also it's mentioned that every individual has multiple positionalities, so we have multiple identities, but and these identities are fluid. So I am being perceived as a Hindu in a particular community, but if I move towards, my caste becomes more important than my religion. So it changes. In some locations, my gender becomes more important. So it's fluid. But the level or sensitivity towards oppression becomes visible only to that identity which you have faced earlier. So I'm saying that it's only that becomes a hurdle to you, which you have faced earlier. Like for me, women oppression will not be visible because I am men. But if I am, let's suppose I am in an area, let's suppose I am in a group of people who are married. So I believe that aspect of my positionality I'll feel that uneasiness, a sense of possibility of either to be bullied or feeling that sense of an oppression. So all our entities will not be playing uniformly at all times, and the challenge will be based upon that. I'll just add 14, page number 14, and then we'll wind up. Page number 14 में Jayanti Lal argues this notion of epistemic privilege essentializes insider while reducing them to homogeneous entity. So ये भी एक काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट है जब हमने बोला कि कोई एक पर्टिकुलर ऑपरेसिव ग्रुप के पास ही खाली वो विजिबिलिटी है कि वो उस ऑपरेशन को स्टडी कर सकता है. शी हैज आर्ग्यूड जयंती लाल दैट दिस आल्सो essentializes and homogenizes that group. So this is a very essential argument that I need to be a woman to empathize with women oppression. So that's and then some feminist scholars, and then I'll conclude end with this. Some feminist scholars, page 14 in the middle. Some feminist scholars have done Dana Haraway's politics and epistemology of location, a useful alternative to feminist standpoint theory. This politics of epistemology is based upon situating, location and positioning, where partial and not universality is the basis of knowledge claims. Situated knowledge are marked knowledge that produces maps of consciousness reflecting the various categories of gender, class, race and nationality of researcher. they reflect on, now these are two technical terms, but we'll share it and then we unpack it. So all our knowledge is situated knowledge. All our knowledge is based upon our positionalities, and these positionalities are not fixed. Now they reflect on the locationality. So the word locationality is, what is your location? It's basically your historical location, your national location, and your generational location. And your positionality is basically your race, your gender, class, nationality, and sexuality. So these are your two aspects. Now knowledge, acknowledging how the dynamics of where we are aligned always, and repeat, acknowledging how the dynamics of where we are always affect our viewpoint and the production of knowledge without privileging one particular position over another, as in the standpoint theory. Our positionality is not fixed but relational, a constantly moving context that constitute a reality and the place from which values are interpreted and constituted. The feminist objectivity is about limited location and situated knowledge, which allows for multiplicity of views. This perspective not only allows and encourages feminist researchers to bring their own partial location and position into research, to acknowledge and build on their partial perspective, but make it imperative for those to do so before any discussion of another's reality can be introduced. Now, yeah. Some sort of an academic jargons are there, you know.
No, it's just terms are different, but it's mostly built on what we have been talking about, like how we started this discussion, that we, like even what she asked, that we think apparently even Donna Harris' article starts with this, critiquing the idea that science appears to be objective, but she's critiquing that it's not always. And her concept of situated knowledge is exactly what we have been talking about, that your location, the knowledge you produce through research, is very much determined by your location. So rather than pretending to produce that you're producing objective knowledge, it's better, it's more feminist to just acknowledge your position and put it on the out on the table, that this is my location, this is from where I am looking at the things. I'm not pretending to look from nowhere. She also has this concept called view from nowhere, which basically means allows nowhere. But it's like, it's also called the God trick. So it's like God is looking from above and everything is below them, and they God has a clear picture of the world. But actually it does not happen with us.
And we can make a distinction between standpoint theory and situated knowledge. You know, यहाँ पे जो differentiate क्या है? Standpoint is like, my standpoint, I could be writing it from particular position, right? So standpoint is not fixed. Standpoint is not fixed. So it's when you include the fluidity of it, depending upon what your location and your positionality is changing, shifting, then it becomes embodied subject, situated knowledge.
So complicated, because Harry also says a lot of things, but we actually discussed that article in my videos that we might go back and
Read this, just read this part.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
And she's also saying, because why it's placed against this idea of standpoint theory. Because Harrow's argument is that we are made from multiple subjectivities. It's like a stitched hole. She uses this analogy of being a stitched hole. So she is kind of against the idea that there's only one position from where we can produce work or produce knowledge. There are multiple identities which we are made of, and we can actually go into this multiple subjectivities and we look at things differently. So it's a heavy text, but it's very interesting. So you can look at that. But this is her idea of things. But you have to relate it. What do you have to go? Yeah. We can send it.
We have done a reading on this thing.
Yeah, so we have a YouTube video. So
there's a YouTube.
yeah, so this
But it's
all
like,
one
it's
for
like
session.
this only,
Haan.
this session, but you can just
So we have
read
broken
it.
down Haraway and done it again, so you can check that.
I think we have
Yeah.
touched upon the issues of power for now, because it's a long reading, we can't expect to
I think we
finish
should
it in.
continue it to the next class maybe.
But more or less the repetition is about reducing
You
power
also get some
differences,
basic ideas which keep
acknowledging
coming up.
your
Your
privileges,
identity, your position, your location.
limiting deceptions,
हाँ.
यही सब बातें कैसे navigate करना है इसको.
Tech quiz every Friday.
Every Friday
We
will
try to,
Yeah.
but thanks to his fieldwork at my CSLC coursework, it's not
I
happening.
was on field and she was not available. But it's open for everyone. I think next Friday she has volunteered.
Oh,
Yeah, so she'll do and we'll try to give prior information, share your readings if there is something that you would have.
Oh, yeah.
And invite your friends
He's
also.
also
Just spread this so that people can come and speak whatever they are reading, any feminist text.
So it was. That's the point.
Thank you so much for coming to space, for helping us hold this space. At no point of time we claim that we know these subjects or topics.
No, it's
Yes,
just
yes.
best to not know them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Take a picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ritual is we end the session with a picture. So if you are comfortable. And today it was unethical of me to start recording without taking your consent. So at any point, just to realize how ethics session should, at any point of time you feel I can delete it. So now,
Yeah,
you feel-
even if we do like, if you are going to say something which might be controversial, you
I
can.
was thinking if I said name, if I mentioned names, if I didn't say names, it's fine.
Then we can go back and cut that part out and just keep it.
I forgot.